What if the next trillion-dollar ecosystem is not built by a new blockchain at all? What if it is being built quietly on top of Ethereum by a project that most retail investors have overlooked? What if the real infrastructure revolution in gaming and digital assets is already live, processing millions of transactions without anyone noticing? That project is Immutable X. And after this video, you may never look at Web3 gaming or NFT infrastructure the same way again. Let us start with the state of crypto in 2025. Liquidity is returning. Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs have stabilized institutional participation. Central banks across major economies are maintaining low interest rates, and the digital asset market has entered what analysts call the utility phase. Speculation is fading. Execution is now the metric that matters. And within this new landscape, infrastructure projects with real-world usage have begun separating from the noise. Immutable X sits right in that intersection between gaming, digital assets, and Ethereum scalability. But here is where it gets interesting. While most chains in the last cycle promised to be Ethereum killers, Immutable chose a different path. It decided to become Ethereum's strongest ally. Rather than competing with the largest smart contract ecosystem, Immutable built technology that makes Ethereum faster, cheaper, and more accessible, especially for gaming and NFT use cases. This changes everything. Because while narratives shift from DeFi to AI to real-world assets, the foundation of all of it remains the same efficient blockchain infrastructure. Immutable X is exactly that. Let us unpack why. Immutable X is a Layer 2 scaling solution designed specifically for NFTs and gaming assets on Ethereum. It uses zero-knowledge rollups, a cryptographic method that bundles thousands of transactions off-chain and then posts a single proof on Ethereum. This drastically reduces gas fees while maintaining Ethereum-level security. No compromises, no sidechains, just scalability without fragmentation. From a user's perspective, this means instant trade confirmation, near zero fees, and full ownership secured by Ethereum. From a developer's perspective, it means they can build Web3 games or NFT marketplaces without forcing players to pay high gas costs or wait for block confirmations. But the real genius lies in how Immutable turned this infrastructure into a full ecosystem. It is not just a roll-up. It is a complete suite: the Immutable Platform, Immutable zkEVM, and Immutable Passport. The platform provides APIs, SDKs, and liquidity tools that simplify integration for studios and developers. The zkEVM, powered by Polygon technology, allows smart contracts to run with EVM compatibility while benefiting from zero-knowledge proofs. And Passport functions as a non-custodial wallet and identity layer, letting players log in with an email while remaining fully on-chain. It is frictionless onboarding at institutional scale. But here's where the story becomes even more compelling. Immutable is not theory. It already works. Major Web3 games like Gods Unchained, Guild of Guardians, Illuvium, and Cross the Ages are live or launching with Immutable as their backbone. These are not speculative white papers. These are playable titles with communities, economies, and real transactions happening every day. Immutable X has already processed over 100 million NFT mints. It consistently ranks among the top networks for NFT volume, often surpassing older Layer 1 that were built purely for gaming. The result is clear. Immutable X has become the default infrastructure for Web3 gaming on Ethereum. But the market may have missed one key detail. Immutable's long-term strategy is not just gaming. It is asset ownership itself. In 2025, the line between NFTs and tokenized assets is blurring. Real-world assets, in-game currencies, collectibles, and identity credentials all share the same fundamental structure: verifiable ownership on a public ledger. Immutable is building for that convergence. The same rails that power a digital sword can power a real estate token. The same account system that secures in-game cosmetics can secure a driver's license, NFT, or a carbon credit. The difference is that Immutable has already solved the hardest part: scalable user experience. Now here is the twist. While many new projects chase hype around artificial intelligence or metaverse branding, Immutable is quietly embedding itself inside the largest entertainment and infrastructure ecosystems on the planet. It has signed partnerships with gaming giants like Ubisoft, Square Enix, and GameStop. It has developer programs bridging traditional studios into Web3. And it is co-developing technology with Polygon Labs, a collaboration that merges two scaling leaders into one unified roll-up environment. This makes Immutable not just a layer 2, but a core pillar in Ethereum's modular future. Let us connect this to the bigger picture. Ethereum in 2025 is no longer just a network. It is an ecosystem of roll-ups, sidechains, each handling specialized workloads. Financial applications flow through Arbitrum and Optimism. Social and identity layers expand on Base. Gaming and NFTs? That is Immutable's territory. The segmentation of Ethereum's Layer 2 mirrors how the internet itself evolved, specialized subnets powering different industries. This is where institutional adoption starts to make sense. Because in the same way Wall Street does not build every exchange from scratch, global enterprises will not build their own blockchains. They will deploy on specialized, audited, secure infrastructure. And Immutable X has positioned itself exactly there. If you value deep research like this, subscribe to Crypto Wayfarer. Now let us talk about the smart money. While retail investors chase meme cycles, venture funds and game publishers have been quietly increasing exposure to Immutable. In late 2024, Immutable raised over $200 million from investors including Temasek, Tencent, and Coinbase Ventures. It also announced ecosystem funds exceeding $500 million dedicated to gaming development and NFT infrastructure. Those are not marketing budgets. They are long-term capital allocations. Institutions are betting that Immutable will become the standardized backend for digital ownership. The reasoning is simple. Immutable X provides the balance institutions need: performance without security trade-offs, scalability without regulatory uncertainty. Every transaction on Immutable still settles on Ethereum. That means regulatory clarity, audit trails, and compliance integration are far easier than on newer, unaudited blockchains. For funds managing hundreds of millions, that distinction is everything. But let us be realistic. No project is flawless. Immutable faces risks. Its tokenomics allocate a significant portion of IMX tokens to ecosystem incentives and early investors. Unlock schedules and distribution events can create short-term volatility. Competition is also intensifying. Arbitrum, Polygon, and even Solana are making aggressive moves into gaming. Some have deeper liquidity. Some have faster consensus. And there is the broader question: can Web3 gaming truly capture mainstream audiences beyond early adopters? These are valid concerns. But context matters. Immutable does not need every game to succeed. It only needs to be the infrastructure those successes run on. That is how AWS won cloud computing. That is how Immutable aims to win digital ownership. Still, the bear case deserves attention. If gaming adoption stalls or NFT volumes decline, Immutable's revenue streams could compress. Token value could decouple from platform usage if incentive distributions outpace organic growth. And Ethereum itself, while dominant, may face scaling saturation as more rollups compete for users. But the bull case is stronger. Immutable is already integrated across major marketplaces like OpenSea and Rarible. Its developer ecosystem is expanding through grants and hackathons. And its technology stack continues to evolve. The upcoming roadmap includes further zkEVM optimization, multi-rollup liquidity unification, and real-world asset integration. This progression matters because as Ethereum 2025 continues to dominate institutional adoption narratives, projects that extend its reach gain disproportionate visibility. Immutable is one of those extensions. It is Ethereum's execution layer for entertainment. And the addressable market is massive. Global gaming revenues exceed $200 billion annually. NFT infrastructure adds another layer of value from collectibles to event tickets to digital twins of physical goods. If even a fraction of that migrates on-chain, Immutable stands to benefit. Now here's where it gets interesting again. Immutable's architecture is modular enough to integrate AI and metaverse systems as they mature. In fact, several AI-powered NFT platforms are already experimenting with Immutable's APIs to generate dynamic assets collectibles that evolve over time based on user behavior. That fusion of AI, gaming, and blockchain infrastructure could define the next wave of digital economies. And Immutable is positioned at the center of it. Let us step back for a macro moment. We are living in a world where Ethereum ETFs normalize digital asset exposure, where central banks accept tokenized assets as part of regulated finance, where institutions hold Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Layer 2 assets in multi-asset portfolios. In that environment, Immutable's alignment with Ethereum is a strategic advantage. It inherits credibility, security, and developer mindshare without needing to build everything from scratch. That is why, in 2025, Immutable is not fighting Ethereum. It is scaling it. And that narrative is powerful, because investors are not just looking for speed anymore. They are looking for purpose. Immutable gives Ethereum purpose beyond DeFi, turning it into the foundation for ownership, entertainment, and identity. Now here is the twist. Immutable is building for users who do not even realize they are using blockchain. Its passport system abstracts away wallets, seed phrases, and gas fees. Players simply log in, trade, and own assets. Underneath, zero-knowledge proofs and Ethereum settlements handle everything securely. This invisible adoption model could be the key to mainstream success. If users do not need to understand blockchain to benefit from it, adoption can scale globally without friction. That is how technology truly wins. Think of the internet. People do not think about TCP or DNS. They think about what they can do with it. Immutable is doing the same for Web3. But the market may have missed another key detail. Immutable is also developing tools for interoperability across rollups. In 2025, it is launching shared liquidity protocols that allow NFT and gaming assets move across ecosystems like Polygon, Arbitrum, and Base. That means your in-game assets will no longer be locked to a single rollup. Value can flow seamlessly between experiences. That interoperability is the missing piece of the Web3 puzzle, and Immutable is one of the few teams solving it at scale. Let us bring this home. Immutable X represents the maturing phase of blockchain infrastructure. It is not speculation. It is execution. It has live games, real users, and verifiable volume. It is Ethereum's scalability partner for the digital ownership economy. And in a market increasingly shaped by institutional adoption and real-world utility, that positioning could prove priceless. For investors, IMX offers asymmetric exposure to the growth of Ethereum's entertainment layer. For builders, it offers a stable, scalable foundation with deep liquidity. For gamers, it delivers true ownership without friction. That trifecta infrastructure, integration, and experience is rare in crypto. But Immutable has it. And that is why the quiet chain under your radar might be one of the loudest winners of this next cycle. Stay sharp, stay strategic, and keep wayfaring.